Okay. Bye, Bubba. Be good. Guys, be good. I really hope it passes. Alright, buddy. Good. Oh, he already knows. Hi, Ma. So I had to come over to my parents' house just to get, you know, the big guy out of the house while they do the inspection. The inspection starts in about like 2 hours. I am nervous as hell. I don't know why I'm nervous. Like I know that it's going to pass, but I'm nervous. But yeah. So me and big guy are just hanging out at my parents' house. I'm working and getting things done, I guess. You know, I've been thinking about it. So since the start of, you know, this whole vlog series that I've been doing, I have realized that I have really started to fall in love all over again with the X-H1. Like, this camera is seriously a powerhouse of a camera. And I don't know why I forgot that. Like, yeah, it's a little heavy, but, you know, I have been going to the gym a lot lately, so, you know, I can handle it. But I have a, what is this? An XC14 to... I'm sorry, I have an XC15 to 45 millimeter lens on here, which, if you know anything about the Fujifilm lineup, the XC line is usually their more like lower end, generic, plastic, very lightweight glass. Put that on the X-H1. Yeah, not a whole lot of depth of field, but it's light, and it makes vlogging a lot easier because it's lighter on your hands. Also, I've been filming a lot with the Eterna profile. When I first started using not just the X-H1 but like other cameras, I would always try to use the log profile, but for me, it never, like, it worked, but it wasn't great. And I would see people color grading the Eterna profile so awesome. Like, it was amazing. I was like, damn, that's some really cinematic looking like footage. And I couldn't figure out why my stuff wasn't looking that way. Well, found out that there was a couple of settings that I had wrong in DaVinci Resolve, and I didn't really tone down the camera settings, which, you know, now that I know to turn down the shadows, turn down the highlights, and the saturation, you're able to control the image a lot more. Like right now I have, let's see, shadows and highlights down to -2, and I believe I have the color to -3. I'll have to double check. But yeah, and then when I put it into DaVinci Resolve, I boost all those up, make it, you know, a lot more contrasty, and you know, I feel like it looks really good. You know, and it's great because this is one of the many things that I am trying to learn and get better, and that's, you know, filmmaking. And yeah, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. Well, at least I feel like I'm doing a better job now than I was initially. So now, I already knew that I loved the pictures that came out of this camera because, I mean, I've had this camera before. It used to be my main camera for pictures when I first got it, and I mean, it doesn't matter what Fujifilm you use, the pictures are all going to be top notch. So I wasn't worried about the pictures. Like, I know about the pictures, but I'm talking about specifically for video this time around. And I have to say, the second time around versus the first time, it's so much better. I'm really starting to like enjoy how to like create with this camera, and it's starting to become like my main tool when it comes to videos. And you know what? I might even bust this out for some photos here pretty soon. In terms of video quality, this camera is amazing, and I'm like super impressed with it because it, you know, when this camera came out, there was a lot of firsts that went into this body, such as, you know, it was the first camera to have F-Log, it was the first camera to have IBIS, first camera to have a real beefy, rugged body. And, you know, this camera was amazing. Granted, later on that very same year, they ended up coming out with the X-T3, which, even though it didn't have the IBIS in that camera like it did in here, it still was an all-around better hybrid camera. But that depends on exactly what you need it for. Even though I love the classic design of, you know, the XT series, there's just something about the body, the feel, the everything about the X-H1 that I love and enjoy a lot more. The IBIS, even though it's not nearly as great as a T4, it is way cheaper to pick up this camera on eBay than it is getting a brand new T4. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't planning on making this video a review video, but the more and more I start playing with this camera, the more I fall in love with it. So I guess this is just a mini review. If you need a really good budget-friendly camera under $1,000 and is like a great hybrid choice, honestly, you can't go wrong with the X-H1. When I got rid of this camera the first time around, low-key I was kind of upset. I had the XS10 and that had a flippy screen. It was great for vlogging, but I don't know, it felt like it would break super easily. I'm not saying that it would, but for me, I just feel like I need a much more rugged camera. That's not necessarily true. That's just how my mind works. It doesn't make sense. I know, you know. And I wish that this camera had the flippy screen, but it doesn't. But you know what? In a way, maybe it's best that it doesn't have one, because then I'm not like constantly like looking to the side, you know, and I'm just looking straight into the lens and talking to you guys. Granted, I know that the flippy screen would be pretty handy if you know, I needed to quickly check exposure, because for right now I'm constantly flipping back and forth, you know, trying to make sure that, you know, it looks decent, I'm not under or overexposed. And it's kind of annoying. Sometimes I'm able to put on the the auto ISO feature and then put the like exposure composition, set it to how I want it, and that fixes it. But that only fixes it for lower light stuff. You know, whenever I'm like shooting out, you know, in the sun, that auto ISO doesn't really help. So I just end up cranking the shutter speed to like get the desired effect. I know it's not cinematic, but you know what? These are just vlogs. I'm not trying to be super cinematic. So, who is this camera for? Well, pretty much anybody who is wanting to get into video as well as photos. You know, this is like a great entry-level hybrid camera that is seriously a beast of a camera for it being, you know, what? Let's see, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, about 4 years old. For it being 4 years old, it's still a great camera. And, you know, the video quality, even though it doesn't do a whole lot of 4K, like it does some 4K, the 1080p that it does produce is pretty good, you know, and it upscales really nice. Of course, you don't always need the 4K. That's just my personal opinion. You know, most people view their stuff on their phones anyways and not on their TVs. So the 4K option, unless you're making a huge move, not huge, but you're making a movie for vlogs, you don't need to be shooting in 4K. You really don't. 1080p is perfect. Just upscale that thing. Budget friendly for people who are looking to get into the whole Fujifilm lineup but want a great hybrid camera, X-H1, highly recommend it. But if you can afford it, go with the X-T4 for sure, because everything in the X-T4 beats the X-H1. I unfortunately can't afford that right now, so yeah, X-H1 all the way. Oh my god, I didn't realize how hungry I was. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat and go back to work. So with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one. I'll let you guys know how the inspection went on my house. I'm super excited to see the results for that. Also, I'm very nervous, like I said before. But you know what? The time is here now, so whatever happens, happens. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Love, peace, hair grease. Stay greasy, everybody.